Hi, this is Sandra Inman from Freedom Success Coaching, and today I want to talk to you about creating more prosperity and abundance and bringing that into your life. And we're going to be using some EFT tapping, which is a very powerful self-development technique that we can use to start to wipe out all of that negative thinking and all of that belief about scarcity and lack, and to bring in some of that positive belief, to train ourselves to believe and to see the positive things around us so that we can train our brain to be able to bring in more of that. Okay, so abundance. If we're wanting to bring in more prosperity and abundance and more money into our lives, more material wealth into our lives, then we need to be thinking about what it is that we want and stop focusing on what we don't have. That's the number one thing. It's really important. So stop focusing on what you don't have. Use that in order to create what you do want. Use that to let you know, okay, I don't want that, so what is it that I do want? How could I change that? What do I want different? And it doesn't matter how outrageous your thinking is, it doesn't matter how unbelievable it is, and it really doesn't matter about how it's all going to happen, because the how isn't up to you. Your brain will start noticing opportunities around you. People will start coming into your life if you open yourself up to perceiving all of the opportunities that are actually around you, and training your brain to have those creative aha moments about things you never would have dreamed up before while you were focusing on the negative and what you don't have. So that's step number one. Okay, focus on what you want. Step number two, take notice of your thinking and how 80% of the time our thoughts are negative. 80% of the time our thoughts are about what we don't want in our lives. So we really need to start changing that thinking if we're wanting to bring the good stuff into our lives. So step number three is using emotional freedom technique in order to change those negative thoughts into positive ones. So what I'm going to do is just a couple of little examples of some tapping that you can do yourself at home. And we're going to do two rounds of tapping. One is going to be negative, and the negative round is focusing on what we're feeling that is negative, focusing on all of the things that are uncomfortable. And we need to do that in order to release it, to bring it to our attention, and then to release it. Okay, I like the analogy that Louise Hay uses, where you can't have clean dishes until you actually see the dirt on them first and clean the dirt away. And that's a really great analogy for what we need to do in order to be able to start bringing in positive thoughts into our lives. So the first round we're going to do is going to be a little bit on the negative side, and then we're going to stop and we're going to do another round to bring in the positive. So I want you to just think about what isn't going well for you in regards to your feelings of scarcity. What is not in your life that you want to have in your life? And I'm just going to focus on scarcity and all of the yucky things that go with it. Okay? So just starting between the eyebrow point. Oh, here I am. Oh, there's just so much lack. It's just not happening for me. It's all just going really bad. Just can't seem to get ahead. Can never seem to get ahead. Can't seem to get ahead. Huh, talk about abundance. I can't see any. I never get what I want. Things never work out for me. Just can't get a break. Poor me. It's too overwhelming. Just can't get a break. I'm not meant to have what I want. I'm not meant to have a great income. Just not meant to. Those sorts of things are for, other people. All I know in my life is lack. Lack in my life. All of this lack. So much lack. So much scarcity. Oh, all this talk of abundance. It's not for me. So taking a deep breath in and releasing it. So that's using emotional freedom technique in order to bring up some emotions and hopefully some other beliefs that maybe you have along the way. So while you're tapping on those very, very general statements, if you had any thoughts, feelings that came up for you, write them down and tap on them. I have a video on how to tap and why I use tapping. So if you want to check that out to find out a little bit more about tapping, then please do that. What I want to do now is talk about how we bring in the positive tapping. So what we want to do is you want to kind of rate where your negativity is on a scale from 1 to 10. So 1 being you're really positive about, being open to abundance and prosperity, and number 10 is where it's just not possible. That's a load of rubbish and you're really skeptical about it. Now, if you started as a 10 and after doing that round of tapping you're probably still possibly around about an 8 or a 9, keep tapping on the negative. Keep tapping on the negative until you get to about a 4, because you need to be about a 4 in order to start to be receptive to the positive affirmations. Okay, so it's very important that you really go through those negative feelings, those negative thoughts, until you bring them down to around about a 4 out of 10, and then you can start retraining the brain, reprogramming the brain with the positive thinking. So now we're going to do a positive EFT round of tapping. So let's begin between the eyebrows. Oh, abundance. I so wish I could open up to abundance. All this hype about abundance. But it seems to work for some people. I'd really like to be open to it working for me. Really would love it to work for me. But I know I've been skeptical. Really skeptical. But what if it's true that I can retrain my brain? That I can reprogram how I'm thinking? That I can encourage my brain to notice more opportunities? That I can change my beliefs? That I can change the way I feel about myself and the world around me? What if I could just open up to all of that abundance? What if I could just open up to all of that abundance? Wouldn't that be good? So I'm just going to keep tapping until I start to feel like there's a chance for me. Because when I look around, there's so much abundance around me. And even if I don't feel like I'm sharing in that abundance, I can start to notice it. I can start to change. And I'd really like to do that. Great, now taking a deep breath in and letting it out. And they're just samples of some tapping that you can do. Now you can be a little bit more specific because you know exactly what it is that you're having trouble with, or what it is that you're wanting to bring into your life that you don't have. And particularly, I know people who have been quite financially destitute, and when they've started changing their thinking, a lot of them, clients and friends, changing their thinking, they did actually start to come up with the creative ideas for a start to bring in that abundance. And the people just started coming into their lives because they started talking about what they were doing and what they were wanting. And then the opportunities just started to be noticed. They noticed the opportunities, because that's really what it's about. It's about noticing, because all of these things are around us. We just don't see them. Okay, so that's enough for me for today. Keep tapping for abundance, and I'll see you in the next video.